Oh my God.
All right, fellas, unofficial commentators coming at you again through your awesome YouTube channel, SoundCloud channel. Before I even get started on anything, huge shout out to our brand new and awesome producer, Dagoberto Ortiz. He's doing an awesome job with the video editing, man. I gotta give him a shout out, like just straight off in the few couple of seconds that we just started off. So we got a lot to talk about today, as we always do. Jay, my man, I see we're kind of matching a bit. What's up with you, bro?
Twinning. Yeah, man.
Yeah, man. Twinsies.
I echo your sentiments with Dagoberto, man. We needed a producer from a long time ago, and somebody stepped up to the challenge, and the show has taken a huge leap in terms of the
Yes,
presentation.
I love
Awesome,
it.
awesome job. We did a very good episode last week. Very good in terms of production. I know that it's been making the rounds. We had a special guest, so awesome episode last week of the Unofficial Commentators. If you thought that we were away for a while, this was our big comeback episode last week. Another video that's gotten a lot of views has been the video for our fantasy draft, man. The lottery. A lot of people are watching it, even people that are not in the league. People are telling me they're interested in
Yeah.
following up with the league and learning more about some of these characters since we briefly described them in the video. So follow the Unofficial Commentators, man. It's going to be a fun year of fantasy football. It's going to be interesting. You're going to get to know a lot of these characters, and like we did last year, we'll have guest hosts every now and then to talk about some of their outcomes. Maybe we can do that on a weekly basis. I don't know. I don't want to promise and then not deliver, but definitely people are
Yeah.
interested in the show. We're growing by leaps and bounds. And I'm probably going to say it later, but before I forget, I just want to go ahead and say it right now. So we get a lot of views in combination by the people that watch on Facebook and YouTube and Instagram and all those other mediums. People are participating, they're following with the show. They either hit me on one of those
Mhm.
mediums, they hit me in private. I know they talk to you about it. So, what I want everyone to do, if you haven't done so already, and even if you have done it, I want you to go ahead and double check. The show starts making money when we get a lot of subscribers on YouTube, a lot more views. So I want you to do this. I want you to go to YouTube. You're gonna find that little subscribe button, and you want to click it. And next to that, they have a little bell. That's for notifications. If you have it pressed to like mild or some alerts or whatever, make sure you click it to always. So then you always get alerted when our episodes come out. And then you just have to watch, according to the metrics, you just have to watch for 30 seconds for it to count as a view. We want you to stick around for the duration of the show, but if you got 30 seconds, 15 minutes, 20 minutes to lend to us, man, by all means, do it. This is how the show grows. And if you haven't done it already, when we tweet something, when we put it on Facebook, if you see it, just repost it. Do us that favor, repost it. Make us feel that the work we're doing here is appreciated. I know it is because people shout it out, but come on, man. Be part of the
Let-
group. Be part of the crowd that wants to make this show progress and push it forward. So, like I said, I'm probably going to mention it a little bit later on as well, but just remember, go subscribe to the YouTube channel. Go ahead, press that notifications. Make a comment so your friends know what you're commenting on. And let's just make the show grow by leaps and bounds.
Yeah, adding to that, be not afraid of putting notifications on. We put weekly videos, so you're not going to get bombarded with notifications. Second of all, C_podcast, just in case, since Jay mentioned Twitter and Instagram, unofficial commentators. And of course, if you're driving, you're working or whatever, catch the audio version on SoundCloud, the audio version only of the unofficial commentator. So I think that's pretty good plug, to start off the show. Shout out to Dago, shout out to the social media, to the YouTube channel, SoundCloud. Let's get started, man. What's up? What do we got for today, bro?
Dude, what a wild, wild weekend. First off, I'm not going to do a moment of silence because people that tune into the show, they don't tune in for that. But I just want to say, man, there are people that are struggling with this whole Hurricane Harvey thing in Houston.
Yes.
Our hearts go out to that. I know that when Hurricane Sandy came through New York and people needed the help, we got it. We got it by leaps and bounds. I wasn't here yet, but I know that a lot of people contributed. And if I'm not mistaken, Hurricane Sandy was 2009. I could be wrong. Don't quote me on that. But I still hear people that are still getting their lives together after that. So a hurricane of this magnitude is something that changes people's lives. Like keep those people in your prayers. Do what you can. I went to the drugstore the other day and they asked me if I wanted to make a donation. Every little bit counts. So by all means, go ahead and do that.
Yeah, for sure, man. I've had some work colleagues up in Houston. They're with no electricity. They've been suffering from the flood. So it's a pretty messed up situation, and our prayers go out to all of them, for sure.
All right. Well, I don't want to make this an extra somber episode, so let's talk about some of the things that went down this weekend. So the much
Sure thing.
anticipated Mayweather-McGregor fight happened. The result is pretty much what we all expected, but the fight, you can't tell me, was not entertaining. Paki, do you think it was
It
entertaining?
was. It was. It was worth it. Except for the issue that they had with pay-per-view, the fight was totally worth it. I was totally expecting. My expectations weren't very high for the fight. Just like you said in last week's episode, I had to see it because I don't want anybody to tell me about it, and it was worth it. Big shout out to McGregor. Of course, he wasn't going to win, but he did a lot better than I expected, even though he did not look like a boxer. And of course, a big shout out to Mayweather, who, by the way, everybody that's saying, "Oh, but McGregor lasted 10 rounds." Mayweather made him last 10 rounds, bro. I mean, if you see that fight, Mayweather was in control from start to finish. In the eighth round, Mayweather was literally like just warming up. He was laughing at the camera, and McGregor was literally almost puking, looking for air. So there's no way in hell that McGregor was going to win that fight. We spoke in my other podcast. We spoke to Cam Awesome, amateur boxer that actually represented the United States in the Olympics, and he said,
That's an
"This is
amazing
like
name, by the
having
way. Cam
Tom
Awesome.
Brady for a boxer. It is." He told me, "It's like, listen, Tom Brady's the best at football, right? But you can't expect Tom Brady to go pitch to Barry Bonds and strike him out just because he's great at football. They're similar the way that you throw something, but it's not the same sport." And clearly you can tell that MMA and boxing are not the same sport.
You're right. And one thing, although it was a fun fight, like it was fun, and I
It was
never
fun.
gave up hope that the punch may be there. And he showed you something early in the second round with an uppercut that kind of woke Mayweather up, and you thought like, oh, well maybe
Yeah.
this is the beginning of the end. It turned out to be nothing, but it gave people hope. You saw the whole fight thinking like maybe it's gonna happen. Now don't get me wrong, I'm not a crazy fan of McGregor, and I did want Floyd Mayweather to win. Like if you would have asked me to put money on the fight, I would have said Mayweather all the way. But just the fact that you got to sit there and witness history, either breaking a streak of 49 wins in a row, or
Hmm.
even witnessing 50 and 0. Either way, I was going to be satisfied. But edge of my seat, man, biting my nails, eating some nachos and frantically sipping down beers, man. It was a hell of a good time. Now, what I can't figure out for the life of me is, did McGregor not know what he was getting into? I mean, uh, is there a point in your life where you just stop developing cardio? How is this what ultimately did him in? I mean, did you not know what you were signing up for? Didn't you
That's
know
a good
that this
question.
was a potentially a 12-round fight, that you had to be ready to go for the whole thing? I mean, hold back on some of your punches. Don't throw everything with your ultimate strength, because here we are, man. By round five, he couldn't even pick up his gloves. He was, mouth agape. His gloves were like down by his waist. He was going back to his old stance. And then I'm hearing things from the press conference, right, or the post-fight conference, where he's saying that he was expending too much energy because every time that Floyd turned around on him, he would pounce at his back, almost instinctually, because that's what he does in MMA, which is a little bit ridiculous. But even little things like that take away from your energy. So what are you doing? Like, didn't you know what you signed up for?
Well, there's a couple of things. I mean, first of all, you have to understand that in MMA, you're not used to hugging your opponent to get some rest. Boxers do that. You close the distance.
Whoa, What do
He
you
never
mean?
did that.
I disagree. In MMA, you do that all the time.
Oh
In
no, they don't.
MMA, you get underhooks and you go against the cage, and you kind of press there to get your wind back before you attempt like a takedown against the cage. You do the
Yeah.
same thing when you struggle to get someone down and then you mount them. Not every fighter has the cardio to start punching as soon as they mount. They kind of cradle up for a moment, not too long of a moment, because if you're not doing enough, the referee's gonna make you stand up. But you cradle for a moment, gasp in some air, and then you can look for the position to either end it by submission or do some ground and pound. In boxing is where you least get a chance to do that clinching. I mean, 1 second, maybe two at most. If there was any kind of clinch, referee would step right in there and break that up.
Yeah, I get you, but it's not the same. So that's the first part, right? It's not the same, regardless of what you're saying. And he was never trying to do that. Second of all, I'm pretty sure his camp and himself told him, listen, you got to try to finish this fight soon. If you let it go the distance, you're going to lose on a decision-based fight. There's no way you're going to win on a decision. As a matter of fact, I saw the scorecards of the judges.
Ooh.
Two of them had Floyd win round 2 and 3, and that's ridiculous. It's clearly it was biased towards the boxer. There's no way Floyd won rounds 2 and 3. And the third reason is, as a former fighter myself, the first thing they show you when you're fighting is what gets you the most tired. Yeah, what gets you the most tired is shooting blanks, meaning missing shots.
Yep.
When you're fighting the air, that's the worst thing that can happen to you as a fighter for your cardio, regardless how good it is. And if you go into the MMA statistics, Conor McGregor in MMA is a 52% striker. In this match, he had 29, 28%, I believe, striking percentage. So that means he was missing a lot of shots, a lot of punches. He's throwing way more punches than he throws in MMA. So no matter how he prepares his cardio, this was his first professional fight. I mean, a few fights, and probably his cardio would catch up to speed, but in MMA, when he went with Nate Diaz the second time, that 5-round match, his cardio did not look affected. He looked in great shape, so he got that out of the way. But
Well,
now in
you're one of the
boxing,
few
it's
people that
totally
say
different.
that. A lot of people say that he was gassed in that fight too.
No, he gathered himself. He gathered himself. There's no way you can compare Conor
I'm just
McGregor in the
saying.
5th round of the second fight with Diaz compared to the first round, to the second round in the first fight, which was completely different, right? So
Well,
you could say that he got a little bit gassed. Obviously, he's not at 100%. He's not Demetrius Johnson. I mean, he is a muscular guy. The guy walks at 170, right? But he did hold his cardio pretty well compared to that. And if you saw the Eddie Alvarez fight, coming to the second round, he looked like he was just warming up when he took out Eddie Alvarez. So MMA-wise, his cardio seems better. And I think this boxing journey actually is going to help him in his MMA career. His striking will probably be better. He's probably going to see punches differently from opponents after fighting Mayweather, and his cardio will probably be better as well. But let's not forget, this is the first time ever he fought a boxing match. So, of course, he was not going to withhold all those rounds, bro.
all right. Well, a couple of questions to wrap up this topic and maybe never again talk about it, or maybe we will. Who knows? So, if there's a rematch, would you watch it?
Yeah, I'd watch it. I don't think there'll be a rematch. I think people are tired of it, but I'd watch it because I'm a Conor McGregor fan. And it was fun. I mean, I can't say it was, and it ended with a knockout. That's what everybody wants, a fight that ends with a knockout. So yeah,
Well,
I'd watch it.
I'll tell you that there's another fight coming up. Golovkin against Canelo.
Ooh, yes, that's gonna be a real fight.
Yeah, whatever. You'll tell me how that goes down. I probably won't watch it. I mean,
No,
if
you
I'm
gotta
home and
watch.
I'm no man, if I'm home and I'm not doing anything else, then I will. But if I'm doing anything else, I'm not stopping to watch GGG and Canelo. I just it doesn't bring me to the TV. Now, a rematch between McGregor-Mayweather, with a little more time to hype it up and a little bit more stretched out, I don't know if I'd be as interested. Like I don't see anything where you could see the tide turning and this going any differently. But even then, I feel like I would still be interested. All right, and those are my thoughts on that. Now, I would be remiss if I don't ask the question that everyone is asking, and I'm sorry if I'm being a little bit hacky, but the fact of the matter is, everyone wants to know this. I want to give you the opportunity to weigh in if you haven't already. What does Conor McGregor do next? I mean, Mayweather already said he's done. He's out of the fight game. He's retiring. So what's next for Conor?
Conor McGregor, what's next for Conor McGregor? What's next is he has to go back to the UFC and defend a title. It's been a great show. He's made a lot of money, but I think he owes us, the fans, a title defense. And as a matter of fact, they already announced an interim title match between Kevin Lee and what's his name?
Tony Ferguson.
And Tony Ferguson. Yes, I had his face for UFC 217, I believe. So they're already going to have an interim title. Somebody's going to get the red panty night fight, as our friend Amadi calls it. So Conor McGregor has to go defend that title. And I already saw some quotes about Conor McGregor saying that if Nate Diaz wants a triple, a round 3, another rematch, it'd have to be at 155, which I assume it'd be for the title as well. So that'd be interesting to watch. But he has to go back to the UFC. I don't think Conor McGregor, everybody's talking about him retiring after all this money, but I don't think he wants to retire as a loser. If he would have won this fight, I would have been a little bit more scared. But I think he's going back to UFC, and hopefully he will defend that title that we all want him to see defend.
Well, truth be told, it is a lot of money for, common individuals like you and me. But I heard Chael Sonnen break down the way that, after taxes and after he pays his trainers and everything else that goes into preparing for the fight, he's basically going to walk away with 50 million clean, which is a lot of money for individuals like you and me. But Conor McGregor likes to live a lavish lifestyle, and he has a family now, so.
And he's young.
Yeah, and he's young, so there's time for him to spend it if he really bites down and wants to spend it. There has been rumors that he wants to start his own fight promotion. There's rumors that he wouldn't fight in the UFC again, not for a salary, but rather for part of the ownership. And there's another rumor that they would let him run an all-Irish division of the UFC, kind of like an affiliate of UFC in Ireland, where basically, they back him up by setting down the groundwork and the rules and the money, and after that he kind of just runs it, and that's what he'll do in exchange for fighting in UFC and bringing in those UFC crowds. Have you heard any of these things, and how much stock would you put in them?
Yeah, the one that I've heard the most is the one about him asking for some shares of UFC. And honestly, I don't really care, bro. Like, I really don't care about the business side. I just want to see Conor McGregor fight. I don't care if it's for $1 or for $100 million. I want to see him fight again in the UFC, and all of the fans want to see him fight again in the UFC. His last fight was very short-lived versus Eddie Alvarez, so we want to see more. And like I said, he looked pretty bad in boxing. He has to let people know that he's a pretty good athlete, so he has to go back to fighting. I really don't care whatever they give him. Do I give a rat's ass if he's going to run a fight promotion in Ireland? Of course not. I'm probably not even going to watch it anyways unless they get signed to the UFC. So just fight in the UFC, for goddammit, and show us what you got, man. That's it.
All right, now on to the real main event of the weekend. Yeah, it wasn't the Mayweather-McGregor fight. It was actually the finale of Game of Thrones.
Ooh.
What do you think about the finale, man? What do you think about this season? I know that you're a big fan, but
I'm
we've
a
done
geek,
a couple
yeah.
of shows during the season, and it doesn't seem like we ever brought it up, man.
Yeah, it's kind of a mainstream topic. I guess that's probably the main reason for it. And it's a topic that can really extend. But truth be told, just to sum it all up.
We don't want to be too obscure. I mean, if we talk about something that no one other than us are interested in, who's watching the show?
Yeah, well, here it is, Game of Thrones. Season 7 was interesting. I actually liked it a lot. It had a lot of surprises. Every episode gave me something to wow about. I really didn't feel there were any boring episodes. Maybe one a boring scene here and there, but no boring episodes. And of course, they're really speeding through it. They've diverted a bit from the books. Everybody knows this. But I don't care, man. I'm enjoying it. I watch Game of Thrones to enjoy the story. The story is getting to where it's supposed to get. And that, spoiler alert, by the way, that second to last episode, when the Ice King, the Night King, killed the dragon.
Amazing.
That really had me going, because up to that point, it was starting to get a little bit predictable. Like, you could tell there was chemistry between Jon and Daenerys, of course. You could tell that he was Rhaegar's son and Lyanna's son, and then they legitimized it. And then, the whole thing that they got married is like, oh, come on, man. This is predictable. this is turning into a predictable story. But that dragon thing, that I was not expecting. That everybody is, and it was awesome because we had the dragons at such a level. Like these guys are unbeatable. They're gonna win for sure. Now it's like you don't know how they're gonna win. Now I want to see this fight because I don't even know how this fight's gonna go. So it's gonna be interesting, man. I liked it. I loved it.
Well, it was definitely better than last season. Last season, to me, felt like they were in a holding pattern. Like, I don't know if they were expecting for the books to come out so they can continue to mimic the books on screen or what the situation was, but it seemed like the last two seasons should have been one, and then they just kind of dragged it out. And last season, to me, ended up pretty much where it started. Like, I didn't see much difference in
Right.
terms of what happened in season six. It was you've heard of filler episodes. This was a filler season.
Well, except
Now,
for Battle of the Bastards was amazing though. That was amazing.
yeah, yeah. Okay, well that's a good takeaway. But
That's
in
one
the end,
episode.
all it served to do was just to erase that whole bastard clan, whatever they're called, I forget. But
Right.
um, other than that, like the main characters pretty much ended up the season where they started. Like not much progression happened. Like I said,
Yeah.
when you send some fighter jets to bomb a place, and then let me not use that example. That's a little too gruesome. You have a plane that's about to land, and they say, well, there's no landing strip available for you, so you just kind of put it in a holding pattern. So it just starts
Right.
kind of flying around, and it's not really landing yet. That's all that season six seemed to me. Like nothing really progressed, nothing moved along. It was just a season for the sake of having a season. This one, though, being that it was a shorter season, even though they added like an extra 10 minutes to each one of the episodes to kind of make up for the fact that it was shorter,
Yeah.
it's you saw a lot of things happen, a lot of things progress. The whole timeline thing was an issue that was brought up a couple of times, and it was just kind of all over the place. Like the dragon died. You mentioned this already, so I'm sorry, guys, if you haven't watched it, but Paki already said it. The dragon dies. It falls straight into an ice lagoon. Now,
Right.
I don't know you, but I've been told that if you put something and freeze it, it's going to last forever, right? He gets put into a life lagoon. They bring him out of the ice. They bring him back to life. And then the next episode, there's like holes in the wings, and he's turning into a skeleton. How is he decaying if he's frozen?
Because he's dead. I mean,
But he's
uh,
frozen.
yeah, but he's dead. I mean, even the White Walkers, they all look a little bit decayed. Not 100% though. They have some flesh, but you know, the timeline issue was a big deal for a lot of people, but I don't pay mind to it. This has been a topic going on since the beginning with Game of Thrones. People just weren't paying that much attention. The fact of the matter is, one story is going on somewhere, another story is going on somewhere. That doesn't mean they're going at the same speed. They'll just catch up eventually. Right? So people kind of get lost in that. The only one timeline thing that was a little bit, whatever, was when Daenerys came to save Jon. And it was because of the Raven. But I figured that the Ravens are like emails. They just get there really quick wherever they're going. Cause, yeah, because throughout the entire show, you notice that Ravens like send out a Raven and boom,
And
the
then the
news.
next scene, everyone has a little scroll.
And the next scene, everybody has a freaking scroll. Exactly. So let's assume that Ravens are like emails. It made sense that it took Daenerys flying in her dragon. Let's say the dragon flies pretty quick, like like a plane. It took her about a day to get there because they did, spend a day there and over a day in that island. So that made sense to me. I don't know why anybody's complaining. I mean, she was flying there. She wasn't on a boat like everybody else. So that made sense to me. Whatever. But I'm okay with the timing thing. One thing that I really did like about this season, though, Jay, is that one, they started tying up all the stories.
Yes.
All the stories are starting to tie up. And two, you notice that the entire Game of Thrones story from the get-go was because of a lie. So at this point, you're still getting kind of like, wow information about shit that you were supposed to know already from the beginning. Right, so that impressed me a lot. I really liked it, and I also like that they started connecting a lot with stuff from the past, which I'm hoping in the next season we keep seeing more stuff from the past. Because one of the things that I like the most about Game of Thrones is about this whole world. It's made with an entire history. It's not just a story. This is literally like another dimension, bro. The way that they've done this.
It's a different world, man.
Yeah, it's not just a different world. It's like another dimension because they have a whole history and a whole bunch of shit tying up together that you don't even see on the show. Like if you're a book
It
reader,
might as well be another planet.
yeah, it might as well be another planet. Exactly. So it's amazing how they're going back to the little history points that we're all intrigued about. So I really like that too, man. And they did this season. They did that this season more than any other season.
All right, so let's wrap up the Game of Thrones. I got 3 quick questions for you. The first one, I hear rumors that it's going to be another year and a half before we see the finale, the last season. What are
Yeah,
your thoughts on that, quickly?
I'm already used to it, man. Anybody that's eager to wait, just read the damn books. Look at the
There are
freaking
no books for this stage in the
I
story.
dude, like 90% of people watching Game of Thrones haven't read a single book. Read them
I,
all over again.
I I have not. I am going on record here on the Unofficial Commentators, and I'm going to tell you, Machete don't text and JJ don't read.
No, that's fine. There's nothing wrong with not reading the Game of Thrones books. It's not like you have to read them. But if you're gonna complain about the delay, then just might as well read the book, or like you're gonna be
Well,
like,
no, I mean that definitely takes away from the fun. I mean, I don't care about people that say it's not as good as the book. Yeah, whatever. Go after yourself. I'm more concerned about if I read it, it's a spoiler. Then I mean, I don't even watch trailers. If anyone that knows me sends me trailers, I'm not gonna watch them. You don't ask
dude.
me if I saw a trailer for Justice League or anything else. I'm not watching spoilers. I don't do that.
By the
So
way,
if I don't watch them, why would I read? What happens next? And like I said, man, I went to a Game of Thrones episode 1 release thing. Like I think it was like 3 years ago now.
I
It might have
remember.
been the beginning of season 4, and the author was there, and he said, it's Q&A. Ask me whatever you want, except when the next book's gonna be ready. He hasn't finished the story,
He's a
so
superstar now. He doesn't have time to write anymore like he did
correct.
when
I
he was
agree.
just
So
when he
so
was.
you don't mislead people and tell them to go read the books. There are no books to read for this stage in Game of Thrones.
No, it's just because I know a lot of people that are like, I'm just gonna go back and watch season one all the way from the beginning until the next season starts. Just read the book. And
I don't know what point that has, but okay.
by the way, just a side note here. You mentioned people that are saying, but the book was so much better. I'm going on record here. I fucking hate all you smartasses that trying to feel superior to us, the series watchers, just because you read every single book. Like, oh, you're better than me. No, you're not better than me. I don't care that you read every single book. That's your problem. That's not my problem. And try to be a smartass about it. In every single history of any story, the book is always better than the fucking TV show or
I
movie because the
disagree.
book is more detailed. Well,
Disagree.
you disagree because you read, because you don't read and you don't like to read. That's another thing. But normally, if you're a reader and you get into the book, it's way more detailed. Like the way they describe the characters in the book is nowhere near the way they describe them in the series. So, of course, they're gonna be, if you're a reader, the book is gonna be better. Don't be a smartass about it. Enjoy the damn TV show, or don't watch it and just wait for the next book. That's it.
Any book worth reading gets turned into a TV show, and that's what I'm going to watch. Okay, so I said I had 3 questions. The first one was about the long delay. The second one is there's a rumor of a spin off coming, and you said that you were interested in the past of Game of Thrones. I think that they're going to go back and tell the story of the Mad King. Would you be
Yeah.
interested in that?
Hell yeah! And there's a book being written about that. I believe it came out already, like about the story of the battle of the what was it, Robert's Rebellion.
Mm,
Yeah, I think that book came out before the story even ended, so they're probably gonna do a prequel on that. Dude, I'm definitely gonna watch it.
hands down.
I want to see. The one thing I'm most intrigued about is Robert Baratheon. Who they're gonna select for this guy because they talk about Robert Baratheon being an awesome, huge, massive warrior that used to fight with a battle axe. Muscular, big dude. I'm assuming a guy kind of like the Mountain, but more agile, more athletic. Probably like a fucking football linebacker type guy with a war axe. And he killed Rhaegar with a fucking hammer to the fucking chest. I want to see who they pick for that because we get to see the drunken, tired King Robert
Luke
Baratheon
Kuechly.
who's retired from fighting and got fat. So I want to see the young guy. I'm intrigued whoever
Or
they
maybe
cast for
J.J.
that.
Watt.
Right, JJ. Yeah, I'm picturing a guy like JJ Watt, exactly, but with a beard. Do you remember this defensive end for the Pittsburgh Steelers called Brett Kiesel? Used to be number 99. That used to have a really awesome beard with a huge
Right.
mustache. That's Robert Baratheon in my head. A
Okay,
young
well.
Robert Baratheon. Yeah.
Well, see, that's the problem with reading books. You picture him that way, and I picture him more like Luke Kuechly, and then we're all on different pages.
He has to have a beard, though. That's the thing. Luke Kuechly is too clean shaven.
I don't know if there was a book for Vikings. I know that I can read it on like certain outlets, Wikipedia amongst them. I never pictured him being that small. Yeah,
Oh,
awesome warrior and
oh,
everything, but
now that you mentioned Vikings, I imagine a guy like fucking Rolo, like that actor. Rolo would be a great ball coming up, but I appreciate the support. Saturday is our kickoff. Season starts. 2017 season starts. We're playing the Oriental Steelers, the rematch from the championship match last year. They did beat us, so I'm really happy, man. I've never been so positive about winning a championship as I am this year. My first year as a coach, we lost in the semifinals by one fucking Hail Mary. My second year as a coach, we lost in the finals. So, my third year as a coach, I guess, is our chance now, is our time to actually win the championship. We're bringing some new
third
stuff. We got
time
some new
is
systems.
the charm. What can we expect
Yeah,
from the
we made
Crows
some.
this year, man? I follow the Crows on Instagram. Shout them out, man. What's the Instagram for the Crows? Central Crows RD?
No, it's Crows Football RD.
I'm so sorry.
Crows Football.
Crows Football RD
Crows Football
is
on Instagram.
the Instagram. Follow the Crows. The artwork, the posts have gotten so much better throughout the years. Props
Oh,
to whoever's doing those.
shout out
And
to Marlon. Marlon is our starting center, and he's also a graphic designer. He took over the Instagram account, and he's doing an awesome job, bro. You don't know him.
amazing.
He's a rookie. Actually, he's going to be debuting on Saturday as a rookie, starting center. He's done a great job both on and off the field with Instagram and with his football duties. And by the way, man, I'm really excited about the season. We're bringing a lot of new stuff. And I'm excited about our quarterback. He's coming in. He was a rookie quarterback last year, changed positions to quarterback. So now that he's coming in for his second year, he's a lot more seasoned. He's more into the position. He's really developed a leadership role. So I have some really, really big plans for the Crows this year, man.
Yes, yes, yo. All right, man. Well, I'm happy to hear it. I hope that in a couple of months we're talking about the Crows celebrating. I might actually take a flight out for that. I got to be
Yeah,
part of that group
man.
picture.
Hell yeah. If we win this Saturday, a team that hasn't lost in fucking 3 years, I'm telling you, bro, it's gonna get crazy in next week's episode.
It is time to do it, man. By all means, get that first win.
Hell yeah.
All right. Well, there was a move made in the NBA that we didn't cover last week when it happened live because we were doing our crossover episode. By the way, if you haven't had a chance to watch it, uh, go watch last week's episode where we crossed over with Unfiltered Sports Talk with Is Christian. We were talking the
Hmm.
preview to Conor McGregor-Mayweather. We talked a little John Jones being a bonehead and some of the fallout from SummerSlam. If you don't know by now, I'm a big WWE fan. All right, that being said, there was a move made, and it was a trade for Kyrie Irving. Just when I thought we were done with basketball talk and I was going to get a rest from this until at least October and just enjoy slowly working my way up into my football schedule and just my usual football diet, which is an entire pizza and a six pack every Sunday. The Sundays that I don't do it is the Sundays the Giants lose, so now I have to do it. Anyway, Kyrie Irving gets traded for four players, two active players, a draft pick, and a not so active player. Forget his name. And now the talk is that they're trying to annul the trade. They don't want it. They're trying to give it back,
Well,
or at the very least try to claim more value for what they got. I didn't think Kyrie Irving was worth four players to begin with.
Well, it's not really nulling the trade. The thing is that when a trade goes down in the NBA, it's kind of like when a trade goes down in fantasy. It lasts a couple of days in transaction, right? It's the same thing, just this one takes longer. It closes out tomorrow, Thursday. So by Thursday, the trade isn't closed out, it gets vetoed, right? So that's a proper term. It can either be vetoed by NBA managers, by NBA owners or commissioners, like what happened with Chris Paul when he was supposed to be traded to the Lakers, or by one of the teams, and if one of the players involved in the trade does not pass their physical, which is the issue that Cleveland has right now with Isaiah Thomas. Supposedly, Boston said they were very transparent with the whole issue. So it's just Cleveland trying to get more. I have a
Well,
opinion.
I often see that. And I'm sorry, Paki, for
Yeah.
interjecting. I often see that where they say that the trade is contingent on such and such passing a physical. You know, about 99.9% of the time, these players are already playing. They're in good health. It's just something they have to throw in there just in case. Now, in this situation, there was an injury, which most of us as fans knew about, but apparently, the whole musical chair game that's playing in the general managership of the Cleveland Cavaliers wasn't aware, and now this dreaded sentence of contingent on passing a physical is finally rearing its ugly head.
I think they're just using their last arm twist to get more from Boston. They're not even because first they asked for Tatum or Jaylen Brown, and then they were like, okay, we'll take a draft pick. Remember, Boston
Another
had
one?
three original. Yeah, Boston had 3 first-round picks for next year. They had the Brooklyn Nets pick, the
Right,
Philadelphia pick that they got in this draft for
right.
trading down, and their original pick. So now they already got the Brooklyn pick in that trade, and Cleveland also wants the Philadelphia pick. I think they're just nitpicking. I think there's no way none of these teams can afford for this trade not to go down anymore. I was talking about this yesterday on a radio show in New York. Is this, first of all, Kyrie Irving said he's not even going to report to camp. So clearly Kyrie Irving and Cleveland are not in good terms. And Boston, after trading Isaiah Thomas, they're not in good terms. Isaiah Thomas was one of the number one guys, to help bring in Gordon Hayward. And it's messed up that they did him like this. He played his ass out for that team last year. He made Boston the number 1 seed. It wasn't their awesome coach. It wasn't Danny Ainge. It wasn't anybody. It was all Isaiah Thomas with his
Wow.
awesome play, playing through injury. Yeah, it was mostly him. And he played through injury for Boston. And they just do him like this. It kind of creates an awkward vibe if all of a sudden Isaiah Thomas comes back. It's like, yeah, we wanted to trade you, but we had to keep you. So I don't think any of these teams right now, none of them have an upper hand. They're going to have to close it out eventually, one way or another. But check this out. If the trade does not go through, Milwaukee Bucks, they're willing to offer Michael Brogdon and Chris Middleton for Kyrie Irving. How do you say no to that?
Is that really an amazing deal? I think
That
I
was
would still
total
need a draft pick
sarcasm.
from them too.
Total sarcasm from my part.
Oh,
Michael
okay.
Brogdon and Chris Middleton for Kyrie
I'm
Irving. You
I
gotta.
am I am very sorry. I didn't read that.
Oh my God! I just plugged that sarcasm in there. That's ridiculous. But yeah, I
I
think the trade's gonna have to go through it. Tomorrow Thursday. We're recording on a Wednesday. Tomorrow Thursday, we should know for sure if the trade went through or not.
by all means, thank you for watching the unofficial commentators. Where can
Yeah.
they follow the unofficial commentators, Paki?
Again, UC_podcast for Twitter, unofficial commentators Instagram, SoundCloud /unofficial commentators, so you can listen to the audio version of this awesome podcast. On YouTube, unofficial commentators. Don't forget to click the subscribe button, to activate your notifications, leave us a comment, send us an email, send us money. It's all cool. All that is awesome.
I'm going to do
And
this right now. I'm going to follow the unofficial commentators on YouTube, and I'm going to click that little bell just to show you how easy it is. Go
yeah,
ahead, keep talking.
and of course on Facebook, you can also find us. Guess for what name? Unofficial commentators. I think we already should have that shit copyrighted because nobody else has it, and it's an awesome name. So that's that's all the places that I can think of, man.
It is copyrighted. Don't get ideas, people, to run out and grab the name. Yes, I got it copyrighted. I paid a couple of bucks. It's mine. You can't have it.